Welcome to Coffee and Conversation. My name is Honorine, and today I'm with Vivianne Asturizaga, who is pursuing a PhD in musicology. Vivianne, welcome, and thank you for being with me today.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for having me, Honorine. It's great. It's a pleasure to always have a conversation and be in this amazing space to share and talk about our graduate life, right?
Exactly. For those few people who don't know you, can you introduce yourself?
I'm Vivianne Asturizaga originally from La Paz, Bolivia, and I'm doing my PhD in musicology. I have been at FSU for quite a while because I also did a few degrees here. I did for masters in flute performance, arts administration, ethnomusicology, and linguistics. And I've loved my time at FSU and enjoyed all what I can, but I also have a big background on performance. As I said, part of my degrees is in performance, and so I enjoy playing the flute here and there and doing some music projects, and definitely traveling is one of my favorite things to do, not only because I get to see different people and places, but also because it kind of pushes me to be outside of my comfort zone, and that's one of the things that I really enjoy doing once in a while and hopefully often. And yes, if people are to describe me, and I got this question before, like, what is it, or how would you describe yourself? One of the first things that comes to mind is I am brave. Bravery for sure. I'm optimistic, and I am also, let's see, joyful of these opportunities in life that I've been given. So that's pretty much it.
Awesome. That's awesome. So now I know why everybody knows you. You've done quite a number of master at FSU.
I've been quite a long time here.
And why FSU? The first time that you came to FSU, why did you pick FSU when you could have gone anywhere in the world?
Well, yes, that's actually a beautiful story. I was inspired and invited by my mentor back then, and now still my mentor, but we get to work in some projects. Professor Amsler has recruited me. She was in Bolivia in the year 2001. Actually, we were celebrating our 20th anniversary, knowing each other. She went to perform a concert. She was a part of a series of music making with the Swiss consulate. She's from Switzerland. And I was, blown away by her performance, her spirit, and everything. So I said, I want to study with her. I originally thought I had to go to Switzerland. I was excited about it because I wanted to go to Europe. But then she told me I accepted the position at FSU when my time came to go, study. Definitely when I met her, I didn't even speak in English. I didn't have the language. I didn't have any. Now I was just understanding myself around, and so I have to do a couple of things and get like language and get to a scholarship to come to the US. And so when I came, I studied with her finally, and that's what really brought me to FSU to be and study with her.
So Bolivia to America, any cultural shock that you experienced?
Oh, every single time I go and come back, and in between, we call it the culture shock, before, after, and in between.
Yeah.
Yes. When you first come, I had kind of a beautiful encounter to the culture because I went to a small college. I was a foreign language teaching assistant. I came first with the IIE Fulbright kind of program they had. My intention was to be here just for a semester, do that program, get to know what needs to be done, and then do a couple of auditions, because for musicians, we do have to do in person. It's much better to do in-person auditions and play for professors or different universities, and to try to do that while I'm here and to study with Professor Amsler. So I came, and coming here, it was like my birthday every day because we had a cafeteria and the cafeteria was open 24/7. And in the cafeteria, you could find pizzas, hamburgers, and cereal, things that I would just have during my birthday. You know, it's like a special meal kind of thing. So I would go and I would find that kind of foods all the time. It was amazing for the first 2 months after I realized that maybe that's not the best food I could have all the time. But until I realized that, and that the schedule for dinner was 5 p.m., not 9 p.m. like I would have at home. So I would always arrive to the hamburger time, of course. I would not get to the like nicely prepared meals for lunch to the cafeteria. So anyways, it was a blast. It was really wonderful to get to meet different people from all over the place and have the exchange that the US provides for all of these international students. You know, you get to see so many other people that are in a similar situation. You get to go to classes and things that are very different to yours. So I was enchanted. I was really in love with everything I had. That was the first 6 months. I got to travel, everything was beautiful, and then I decided to stay, and that's when I started having these other questions, you know, like, so what then? So what about now? And that's when when in my case, that's when I started missing home, thinking about the things that are beautiful. First, you're like, everything is beautiful, you know. I was really excited about the things that I found just because they were different, honestly. It was just like a nice breath of air, different from what I had. But then after I started comparing, you know, contrasting and saying, oh, this is very beautiful at my hometown, or this is what I missed, or how about food, or how about different artistic activities, for example, which is very different. I come from a city that's very big and metropolitan, and there's a lot of downtown kind of gathering and art and etc. And coming here I was in a suburb of Cleveland. It was not that bad, but getting to Cleveland was the thing, you know, like having a car, you know, all the issues that you find when you are in a country like this, that's much bigger, and like transportation, especially urban transportation, is very different than what it is and what we can do in our home country. So I started comparing, contrasting, missing. And then I was able to go home. You know, you miss, you go, and had a beautiful first week. And the second week I was like, oh my gosh, I've changed, this is it. And so I'm giving you a summary of the first part of my travels within the first year here, but that pretty much repeats every single time. It's much faster now. It takes me days. I know what to do when I'm coming. I'm leaving home and I'm so comfortable at home and everything is just so safe. I know I have to see my people, you know, I have to see friends, I have to be in comfortable places at least the first week. If I don't do that, it hits me pretty bad. So I intentionally, I have a dear friend that lives in Guernsey, that's from Bolivia. We went to high school together. I make sure I see her, you know, I make sure, and she's so loving, it's great company. So I make sure that on my way to Tallahassee, I stop by Gainesville and I say hello, even if it's for an afternoon or something, just to feel home and feel that that I can bring all the beauties, and my home is actually myself, right? But like, I really need to remind myself of the things that I love and the people I love and feel very comfortable. And then the transition is within a week and 2 weeks. And the same when I go home, the first week I'm completely distracted and go see people and etc. And it's great. But the second week I need to make sure I'm connected with the things I love about being in the US. And actually during COVID time, that was really beautiful because you could connect even more. People were more into doing Zooms or having workshops and doing all of this academic thing that I like so much, such a nerd. But anyways, that's what really connects me and what I admire and take really great advantage of being here, you know.
What does Thanksgiving symbolize for you as an international student?
Wow. Well, if we think about the etymology of the world, of the word, thanks and giving, I really, you know, the family times I could have in the US were when I was in Thanksgiving. I mean, my first Thanksgiving was with a very wonderful family up there in Pennsylvania. I didn't know what I was going into. I knew that I was going to family dinner. And, I remember we did lots of workshop on Thanksgiving and the meaning of all of that. But sometimes, especially when you're new, things like you find it very wonderful and etc. But they don't stick with you. Like you don't memorize it right away. It's kind of like comes in and it's information that you're like, oh, that's cool. And then it suddenly it's away until you experience what it means. And for me, it was I arrived in January, so it took a while until I got my first experience to, to be with a family in the US. And the concept of family is different than the concept of family at home. But one of the similarities happens in Thanksgiving because people gather and they make plans, they travel from far away to get to see family, and they gather around the table and around the dining table to share some time and to be appreciative of each other and of the moment they do have. So that's what it means for me. I do know that there are other meanings and there are other associations with this moment in time and history. And I do know that throughout humanity, we've done really crazy things and we continue doing it. It hasn't stopped. But what we can do today is acknowledge the presence of something like Thanksgiving as a moment of togetherness. And that's what it means for me to get together with the families that are here. And I honestly, even when I'm far away, like last year, because of COVID, I left home and I was doing my work there. But it was during Thanksgiving that I thought of my American family. And American family is too large. My North American US family, because America is very big, right? So I thought of the family that first hosted me in the dinner. I thought of my friends, and I remember the times where we did our Friendsgiving, where all the friends, because friends become your family here when you are an international student. So I remembered my times with my friends, and I called them and I said, hey, what are you doing today? How is your Thanksgiving going? What did you eat? And what was exciting for you? And so for me, it's the gathering, the thinking, the remembering close family and friends.
How do you see yourself 5 years from today?
Well, the first thing that came to mind, to be honest, was like not in Tallahassee, but I don't want to mean it in like the wrong way, because it'll be really beautiful to live in Tallahassee, but I most likely will graduate by then. So I'm not going to be here, most likely. So it's not in the sense of like, oh, I don't want to be in Tallahassee. Some seniors say that. It's like, leave town once I'm done. No, I really love this place. So it'd be really wonderful to stay. But I know that as international students, we also have that in mind. You can always stay if you find some job or you would like to think of that possibility. But there's also a lot of work to do at home. So I need to think about that as well. And I currently work with a research laboratory there. So I would like to continue working with them, and definitely all my family, everybody close to what home is in my hometown is there. So that's in the books for sure. I would love to be traveling. I would love to be teaching. I love the academia in many, many ways, but one of those is that I get to interact with people honestly, and I get to learn about their questions, what they're curious about, and I get to share my passion for things that I love, such as music. And so I would love to be teaching somewhere. I would love to be traveling, or being like seeing more places, encountering more people. And I would definitely would love to be working on my research. I'm working on a project right now about sounds of my city of La Paz, Bolivia. This is a sound studies field project, and I'm trying to uncover what that means and what sounds mean for people, what individuals think and makes, any sense or any order with whatever they are surrounded. So I love to be working even more with that. And whatever it leads me, whatever this degree, you finish like a cycle of learning, whatever this leads me would be great, as long as I'm teaching, performing, doing some research, and definitely in connection with my home, my hometown.
That's awesome. I find your research very interesting, the idea of what does sound mean to you, because I always think about smell. Like I have a lot of memories just by smelling something. A perfume, just even like dish soap reminds me of moments. Like I'm very like not a smelly person, but like smell reminds me of something. But I never thought about what sound meant to me and what do for instance, it's raining crazy right now. And it's been raining a lot in Florida. And I wonder, now that you say that, I wonder if when I move away from Florida and it rains somewhere, will I think about Florida and all these times that I've been here? It's very interesting. And are you researching every sound or more music related?
Well, I really wish, because I'm such an ambitious person, to understand like the complexities of sound. And when you talk about every sound, is that like it's the rain, is people talking, is the honking, a brass band coming down the street, it's everything and anything. But I can but think on music because I'm a musician. So what does sound and all of the soundscapes around people mean into, for musicians? They are working with sound. So what does it do to a musician who works with sound as the main the main product of artistic expression? What does it mean for a musician to actually live in a place like New York City versus live in a place like Tallahassee, right? Like, how does that sound affect or not, or to what extent do they, participate or are a part of the identity of a musician? That'd be really cool to unfold, to explore much more. I do know it's very ambitious, that I can start with something. And for example, my dissertation deals with musicians and some music compositions that are dedicated to a specific location, my hometown, La Paz. And so I am hoping to start unfolding this idea. I do not know if I'm going to be able to understand the whole complexity of sound, but I hope that little by little I discover, I understand, explore much more of different kinds of, if we separate this kind of music or sound or nature, the biophonic, anthrophonic, or different kinds of sounds.
Wow, I love it. It's the perfect way to conclude that interview. Thank you so much, Vivianne, for your time, for your mind-blowing ideas.
Thanks for the interview.
It was great to get to know more about you and your research, and about sound. And we'll leave people thinking about what does sound mean to them. Thank you so much.